welcome to the Red Barrels podcast. It's episode 40. 40, and we're back. We've been gone for so long. I've moved. That's basically why we didn't record, because I was moving and I edited the podcast. So I'm the most important person and everyone loves me. And so everything had to go on hold for my personal issues, and we'll never do that for anyone else. Speaking of the people,
I'm going to be moving in a couple of weeks, so we are not going to postpone for me. Fuck that.
We might. We genuinely actually
God's
that
sake,
might
Alex.
happen. Who knows? That might actually happen. We don't have current plans, but we'll see how it goes. I was making a joke, and I should have thought a little bit further ahead to remember that actually we're going to be entering into that situation quite soon.
I am going to be moving next week.
Well, as always, I'm
Gosh.
Alex. Who is it who's moving house? Who we were just talking about?
It's me who's moving house, and I'm Sofie. What about you? Are you moving house?
I'm not moving house, but my name is Ed. So it's good to see you all.
Well, that's good.
Good to
We
be
did it.
back here.
We did
Episode
it.
40.
We've established our housing situations.
Strange conversation.
The most important thing. Everyone listening is going to be like, where they're living? I think our listeners imagine that we are. I don't know if you've ever seen the Beatles film Help, where
they need somebody.
at the beginning they at the beginning it's revealed that the Beatles live in a big house together. That's actually like it's like
I
a
think
terrace.
we do live in our big house.
Well, we live in a big house
together.
We
Yeah,
live in
With
Red
the
Barrels
Beatles as well.
Towers.
yeah.
And we have our own rooms.
Ringo, can you keep it down?
And Ringo's
Sorry.
here. That's just the exciting life we live. That's the life of a podcaster. We have one of those podcaster houses. You know those creator houses. Like I think Clavicula might live in one of those. I don't know. Maybe not. We
All
love
I know
that
is
dude.
he got a botched nose job.
Yeah, he looks weird. He's like somehow lost huge amounts of weight, which was all muscle somehow.
Yeah.
Like in a very short period of time. And I genuinely don't know how that's possible. But like,
Meth?
whatever. Probably meth.
That's not an
well,
accusation. He
let's
admits
make
to
it
it
clear.
himself.
When I said probably, well, I just want to make Clavicula. He might get maybe a bit
Man.
legal.
It's been
I'm
like
just
5
basing
minutes
it.
into the
I'm
podcast. We're
joking.
already talking
I don't
about
know.
Clavicula.
That's true. That's true.
Let's lock in.
We'll save that for our separate Clavicula cast coming soon into your podcast feed.
Yep.
But for now,
Yep.
this is
Yep.
a news episode. We'll be doing the games episode next week, and that's going to be a big one. I'm gonna spill the beans right now, because all three of us have played Zero Parade. It's going to be a full-on Zero Parade blowout. What do we think about the sort of follow-up to Disco Elysium? Do we have thoughts? Do we have opinions? The answer is yes, but what are they? You will have to wait one full week to find out, at which point we will elucidate them on the podcast. But for now, it's full-on news, baby. It's all news, all episode. And first up is going to be me. It's going to be me. And the reason is because I have the kind of, I don't know, the sort of funnest one. It's just a bunch of games. Basically, in the time that we've been away, one of the things we missed.
The wilderness weeks, as I like to call them.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think probably
The dark
safe to say the
times.
worst month to 6 weeks of all of our listeners' lives that we weren't around. Maybe, dear listener, you consoled yourself with us not being on the podcast airwaves by watching Summer Game Fest and all the associated things with it. That could have been something you did, and we're going to talk about that. What was shown off? Obviously, this was a little while ago now, unfortunately, and there was a lot of stuff, so we're by no means going to go through all of it, but just to hit off the big boys as we go along. First up, there was a state of play. PlayStation had their showcase thing. That was the first thing that happened. We're not going to go through everything. Kind of 2 things were interesting, I suppose. Well, 3 things. Control, Resonant. My tentative game of the year. I'm guessing it's going to be my game of the year. I love those games. That got a release date. I think it's in September. We'll be
The
talking about release
24th,
dates
I
a bit
think.
later. 24th, that sounds about right. But the 2 big games they showed off over the whole thing were Wolverine, starting with it, which I'd already shown before, but it was a bit more involved and really showed how unbelievably bloody it is. I suppose accurately, but like literally, he has 3 giant knives on his fist and he just rams them through his people's heads and there's blood everywhere.
It's
Which
not
is a
very
bit weird.
ethical of him.
It feels a bit weird for like a Marvel thing, to be honest. He's wearing this big spangly outfit and he's just like, this is like blood gushing all over the thing. And the blood kind of weirdly just evaporates off his body quite quickly, which is a little unsettling even. But that was that. But then the big reveal at the end was the new God of War game, which is going to
Oh,
be
yeah.
God of War Lao Fei. Lao
Hmm.
Fei being, I mean, I think you could probably more accurately name this God of War : Dead Wife Chronicles, because you play the dead wife. Don't worry, she did die. That did happen. They haven't robbed your emotional connection.
Spoilers.
I'm sorry. She literally died.
Yeah, that's fine.
The game opens with him carrying her corpse, so I don't think you
Okay.
can really call that
That's fair.
a
That is
spoiler.
fair.
To be fair, but this answers the question that I think we all had: what happened to her in the god's afterlife? That's obviously something we were all concerned with. I feel it's a little silly. She seems quite cool. She's played by Deborah Ann Woll, who's in the Daredevil series, and she's a really good actress. And she looked like she's pretty good in this. But I just find it just like feels a bit desperate to just be like, this character literally died, and then like, well, what happened to her after that? Like, it feels a bit odd. But she is going to be going around what appears to be the afterlife of the gods. So there are other. There's like an Egyptian god there. There's a Mongolian god apparently. But also, she will be accompanied, and this is literally on like the box art, by a giant gelatinous cube who fights with her and has the
Oh,
voice
yes.
of Jack Quaid from The Boys. What do we think about the cube? Let's hear opinions
forgot about
the
the
cube. Pro
cube.
cube, anti-cube. Pro cube, anti-cube.
I don't know. I forgot to actually like watch the full trailer. I've just seen bits and pieces of it of people covering the outrage, but like I didn't know about the cube until someone was just like, "Oh yeah, she gets help from like a sentient cube," and I was like, "Wait, what?" I don't know. My initial reaction is like a cube is too modern of a shape to incorporate into a game
True.
about ancient gods. But I don't have strong feelings about a cube. I feel like it would be just as ridiculous to have no opinion as it would have to have very strong opinions about the cube. I don't know.
I'm no historian, but I'm fairly sure they didn't invent the cube until around about the Napoleonic era.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
So, it seems a bit anachronistic, there's no doubt.
It was all triangles before then, like the pyramids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And squares, but no cubes.
No cubes.
Hey, do you have cube thoughts?
Trapezes.
Honestly, I have seen the trailer. I watched the trailer shortly after they aired it at Sony State of Play, and I just didn't think anything of the cube. It just didn't. I don't know. There's been a bit of buzz about it since, but I was more interested in like, which like pantheons of gods are going to be in this game. Like I find that sort of stuff fun. I like crossover mythologies.
Sure.
So I
definitely
haven't
seems
really thought
like
about the cube at all.
Definitely seems like there's going to be a mishmash this time because from what they showed us, that sounds interesting. Sofie alluded to it, but there has been weirdo internet people. You're weirdos. You know who I'm talking about, who have been complaining about this. I suppose, I mean, as far as any of this has any legitimacy, which it doesn't, but like God of War is like hyper masculine, and having a woman do it is a bit of a departure, I suppose. So, of their many complaints,
it's like it's like inarguably yes a departure, but
yeah.
that's fine,
I don't want to lend legitimacy to any of it, but I'm just saying of their pantheon, speaking of pantheon of complaints, this is like fractionally more reasonable than most of them, and we'll be getting to some of their more unreasonable ones even by their standards later. But I think it looks interesting, but I don't know, I wasn't really convinced that from the footage that Lao Fei was particularly interesting, and she seemed to get over having died and left her son and husband alone quite early on in the game. She kind of like is like maybe a bit pensive about it for maybe 40 seconds, and then she's just wailing on dudes.
What are you trying to say that a woman should be more emotional, Alex? Is that what you're trying to say?
Jeez, Alex.
Well, wow.
Considering the game in which she dies, it takes them like 3 hours to get over that shit. It seemed a bit surprising to me, but that's all.
I do have an opinion about the sort of like the outrage about it, which I personally feel like there was more outrage about the outrage than there was outrage about her being a woman. Like, I definitely saw more coverage of the outrage and not very convincing coverage where it was just like a couple dudes tweeted on Twitter about it. I feel like, especially, I don't know, it felt very like Philip DeFrancofied of just like that. I don't think there's actually that much content to this outrage. I think you're just reporting on it because it's like gamers be mad again. It's like I'm sure some gamers be mad. I don't. You know, I felt a little bit like a made up left wing psyop of just like everyone's bad. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what you
I
guys
think. I mean,
think.
I think there's only like the actual numbers of the guys who do this weird shit
Mm.
kind of pretty low as
Yeah,
it
they're
is. They
very
just
low. Yeah.
manage to get amplified by
Yeah, they are
various
there,
means.
and it sucks.
Hmm.
But yeah.
All right, well, let's move on. The next item was the Summer Game Fest itself. The Keighley show. Jeff
He's
Keighley was
back.
there. We love him. You know how much we love Jeff Keighley. We talk about him all
Gotta
the
get him
time. I
in
dream about
every
him.
episode.
Have him
Mhm.
tattooed on most of my limbs.
He does. I've seen it.
You know,
It's really quite an
it's
interesting
incredible.
choice. Yeah.
The show opened with Resident Evil Veronica, a remake of Resident Evil Code Veronica. They dropped the code. We've talked a lot about the Resident Evil games, and this looks like it'll probably be another good one. Capcom is on an incredible run of just making good games, and like the last Resident Evil came out a couple of months ago. They've already announced the next one coming out next year. They make them out of incredible clip, and they're generally of high quality. It's incredible. I will say I never played the original Code Veronica, but I have heard that there is some questionable transphobia in that original game. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. I mean, I find it difficult they won't do something to change how that is portrayed. Apparently it's like a villain who's basically a guy who dresses like a woman, and him dressing like a woman is part of him being a weirdo freak, basically. Right?
Right.
Oh dear.
That's basically how that goes, from my understanding. I'm no Code Veronica expert, so don't at me if I've misrepresented that original game. But one can only imagine they'll do something different with that, and if they don't, that'll be really bad. Resident Evil, there's going to be a new Cuphead game. That's fun. Alien Isolation 2. Any Alien Isolation fans? There's going to be a second
No.
one finally. Not a fan of Alien Isolation?
I'm not a fan. I don't think I've even seen the movies.
Oh,
Just
really?
was completely off my radar. Yeah, just never really been on my radar.
Oh.
I've been
pretty
recommended
good.
it many times. Yeah.
I mean, there's good films and there's bad films. But certainly the first two are very good.
Yeah.
And Alien Isolation, the game, the first one, is a really great game.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the new one. Gen Atlas, that's the new game from Fumito Ueda, who made Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, and Last Guardian. He's back after quite a long time. Now it's kind of a sci-fi thing, and there's a giant robot that you climb on top of and pilot in some way. Still quite vague, but it has a name, Gen Atlas. So, hooray! I love Fumito Ueda. It's nice to see him doing stuff. Stranger Than Heaven. This is the new game from the Yakuza studio, Guta studio, RGG studio. Well, I think we've talked about this before. It's basically like set across the entire century about a couple of guys who go from like half Japanese, half American. They go live in Japan, and it seems like it's basically a giant prequel to the Yakuza games, because we've seen that they're actually setting up a Yakuza clan that Kiryu is in. And I think this game almost certainly will end with Kiryu being born. But the big reveal at this event was that, I mean, previously they'd shown that Snoop Dogg is going to be in the game. He's like one of the voice actors, and he's portrayed in the game. But also, Tupac is going to be in the game.
Yes.
But wait,
I heard
animated
about
Tupac.
But
Is
wait.
he not dead?
He's dead. He's dead in real life.
What?
Well, I mean, in some ways, all the video games are holograms. So maybe
I don't know
Whoa.
that that's true.
Yeah.
one could say that. In the same
They
way,
could do.
Can
They
you
could
say
many
that?
things.
You can say many things. Yeah, exactly.
one could
Can.
say it. It could be
You
said.
could.
But
Would it be
Oh, they
wise?
got Machiavelli in it.
yeah, exactly. Put Machiavelli in the Assassin's Creed games. Why not? Why not Snoop?
I'm
Why
sorry,
not
I meant
Tupac?
Machiavelli. Machiavelli was like one of Tupac's stage names.
Oh, is it? I don't know. No, Tupac. I should be, because he was a good communist. Can't deny it. Can't forget that. That Tupac was a communist, and I doubt that's going to be reflected in this game.
No.
Card carrying communist as well. Yeah, people are a bit taken aback by Tupac being in the game. It seems like they kind of paved over initial issues, because there's a whole issue with his estate that apparently the people who run Tupac's estate they're questionable people that are not really connected to the actual
I've heard
family
this
of
as well.
Tupac. I don't know all the details, but like the mere fact that Tupac's estate has endorsed this does not mean much to a lot of people. But then it came out that apparently they have also been in touch with his actual family, and they have also endorsed it. So I think that is largely quelled concerns about this, but it is still weird that Tupac is in this game playing a fictional character. I mean, presumably it's not Tupac's voice. And apparently it's not going to be AI doing his voice either.
So
How are
what?
they
It's an
going to do his
impression?
voice? Yeah.
Yeah, just someone doing an impression, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels a bit weird. Yeah.
It is a bit weird. But I'm like, he died like decades ago. I mean, he's basically a historical figure at this point. There's been plenty of games that have
Yeah, that's
historical
not.
figures in them. For instance,
Yeah, at
on
what point
Onimusha.
does someone become a
Hmm,
historical figure? It's actually a good question.
exactly.
Yeah.
I
On
think it's
Onimusha,
weirder because someone who knew him in real life is also in the game.
Yeah, it's also that's the thing. So is he that old? It's like, is his death long enough ago? I feel like maybe a person becomes a historical figure when everyone who knew
maybe.
them is no longer alive.
Mm.
But it is
You
worth saying
know?
that Onimusha, the new
Mm.
Onimusha game from Capcom, the main character in that has the likeness of what's the name? He's the guy who's in the Kurosawa samurai films. I can't remember his name, but anyway, he's a famous Japanese actor from the olden days. I think most people didn't recognize him because it's a young version of him,
Mm.
and he's in that, and no one seems to care particularly. And he also has been dead for quite a long time, and very much existed in living memory. So I mean, it's not wildly a similar thing. Although Tupac was assassinated, that does make a difference. But
I guess Tupac is also like quite a beloved figure, but like especially like amongst a specific group of people. And is it that group of people telling a story with him in this game? Like I don't think it is.
well, I mean,
so,
it's a Japanese game, but it does seem like they're
yeah,
bringing in like a lot. There's a lot of the stuff about the music of the time, and they're bringing a lot of black culture stuff into the game. Hence, why Snoop Dogg's in the game as well.
sure. But I can see
Um,
why people would feel like
yeah,
weird about that.
yeah. Well, let's move on. Other games that were shown off. Let's skip through some of these. I think we'll go straight to probably the biggest one, which was, of course, Final Fantasy VII Revelation. I'm excited for that. Still my personal, though obviously I defer to the group decision, but my personal vote for most ideologically correct game of the year last year. It's finally coming out. It's going to be called Revelation. It's coming out next year. It looks great. Hopefully, it doesn't have that bit that I mentioned where it kind of libs out and the big revolutionary guy regrets doing a bunch of stuff. I mean, it would be a massive backtrack if they did that. So I'm hoping they won't. I'm hoping they won't.
You'll have to
But,
let us know.
yeah. Something I did miss out, actually. Stellar
Guild Wars
Blade.
3 is where you've missed out, by the way. I'm
What,
very upset.
what did I miss?
Guild Wars 3.
Oh, Guild Wars
Yeah.
3. Of course.
Guild Wars 3.
Well, I think I've forgotten something else, actually. Surely
Sorry, go
your
on.
most important game of this entire show.
Dragon
RuneScape?
Wilds.
Exactly. I think Sophie got it. How did you miss this, Ed?
RuneScape Dragon Wilds. I said Dragon Wilds.
Yeah,
Okay.
RuneScape
Just
Dragon
call it
Wilds.
Dragon
Alright.
Wilds. All right. Hey. We're not all au
both
fait
fucking
with it.
idiots. Get rid of
Dweeb.
us.
What's your opinion on RuneScape Dragon Wilds? It was at pretty much all the events, and I guess it's going to be on the consoles and stuff. What's your opinion on that, Ed? What's your opinion? Is that good?
I've not played it. I don't know. I don't personally feel that interested in it. I don't think. I mean, it's not supposed to be a very similar thing to RuneScape, really. So it doesn't really like scratch the same itch. Like it's a co-op survival thing, isn't it?
I guess. You tell me, man. You tell me.
Well, then yes, it is that. Yeah. I mean, it's been available in early access for like more than a year. So
Oh, really?
I've not tried that out. I think the new thing is that it's coming to consoles. I think it's already like you can already play it and stuff.
I imagine.
I haven't tried it. I'm not super interested in it. But like if other people told me it was fantastic, then maybe I'd check it out.
Oh, I see.
That's where I'm at with it.
I will say that at the show, I remember Jeff Keighley announced this by mentioning, I believe, one of the formative RuneScape events you mentioned when we discussed RuneScape on our podcast. I can't, you're the expert. But it was one of the various tales you spun, something like that. It was something like that. You mentioned, and I was like, wow.
I missed this at Summer Games Fest. I saw them announce it at the Sony State of Play before, but obviously that didn't have our boy Jeff. So what was even the point?
Of course.
What was even the point?
What is even the point? But before we're done with SGF show, we also have Stellar Blade Blood Rain, the sequel to Stellar Blade. Now, I will say, apart from an issue I'm going to bring up in a moment, I thought this game kind of looked incredible. Like, the environments looked amazing. Where before, the issues I'm about to go into reared their head, I was like, man, this game, oh, wow, I look forward to this game. And then I saw the face of the main character, which was seemingly incredibly young. And then I saw the body of the main character, which was a lot less young. And had
And
had
much
a had a
jigglier and much
had
older.
jiggly bum physics.
Yeah, but didn't
And
the original Stellar Blade also have jiggly butt physics? She did, I'm pretty
it may have
sure.
done. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
she did.
No one really
certainly
talked about it at the time, I don't think.
No.
the actual jiggling. I don't think people. I don't remember being much of a conversation, but it may well have been
No.
there. I don't doubt
Yeah.
it. Certainly, at minimum, face aside, it seems very much in keeping with the style of the previous game. But it's the combination of that body and that incredibly young-looking face. I mean, she genuinely looks like, you know,
Like a
based on that
toddler.
face alone, if you said she was 6 years old, I'd
Yeah.
believe it.
Oh.
It's like
Yeah. There's
quite
a couple.
unsettling.
I will be honest that like there are a couple more incriminating angles than
Yeah, yeah.
others. Like some angles, she looks a bit more like obviously under 20. But
Yeah, yeah.
some angles I would say like she could sort of pull off like 17, 18, 19, which is still problematic. But
Yeah.
like there are a couple of angles, that one where she's looking back and she's
Yeah,
got
yeah,
those
yeah.
chubby cheeks, and it's like that's
Mm.
crazy. That's like
Yeah.
5 or 6 years old is what we're
Yeah.
drawing on there.
It's a weird thing. I mean, people have been, even I mean, I think some of those internet weirdos we were talking about did talk about this, and like someone kind of tried to defend it or something. But I think even those guys are a bit
And even the
weirded out by it.
creators like were like, yeah, no, we made her look really young. No, we like, yeah, people were being like, I think the major defense was like, oh, it's because it's based on an Asian woman, and Asian
Yeah.
women tend to look younger, and like, oh, it's based on someone's face, because they always with the bodies in Stellar Blade. I remember they had the same problem last year or the last time it came out, where people were like, this is an unrealistic body standard, and it is. And they pointed out that, well, it was actually based on like 3D modeling of like an actual model, a real person that exists. It's like, yeah, she won the genetic lottery. It is still an unrealistic body standard to set. Like, it is unrealistic. But, I'm also, I don't know, I'm one of those people that I'm like, if you want to have your Goonie game, I don't really give a shit. Like, that's fine. I just want diversity in the marketplace of video games,
Sure.
right? I don't really care if you have your games and you play them. I don't really give a shit, right? I don't need the women in your Goonie game to look like women in real life, whatever you want. But like, don't have them look like 5-year-olds. That is, that's where I draw a line. And I feel like that's where everyone else should draw a line too.
Yeah, I mean, it's genuinely or incredibly
Quite
weird choice.
unsettling.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I would not be surprised if they tweak the face before this game comes out.
I'm sure, yeah.
But
That's a game that just
it's a wild
thrives
thing to show.
on controversy as well as Stellar
Yeah,
Blade.
but even
Like,
this kind of
just...
controversy, I can't imagine being something they were looking for. There's a limit, so there's no such thing as
post-Epstein
bad
is
publicity,
crazy.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weird one. Ed, do you have Stellar Blade thoughts?
Have you
I
seen the
haven't seen
picture?
the Stellar. I've literally just been looking at the pictures. I totally see what you mean. From like some angles, it's like, yeah, I get what's happening. That's fine. But then from some other angles, like you specifically said, the one where she's like looking over her shoulder with like the chubby cheeks, like, my God, she looks like
that one
she
is
looks like
so
a
bad.
child.
Yeah.
That one is not ideal.
Like, you can place the age of that, like what she looks like, because it's like you lose those chubby cheeks by about like 7 or 8.
And it's just watching that trailer, because they don't announce that it's Stellar Blade until the end, so you don't necessarily know what you're in for. You watch at the start, and like, firstly, like I say, that environment looks incredible. The city is like, I would really like to play this game apart from this stuff. And like, then you see this character, and like, wow, she looks young, but I mean, what are they going to do with that? Okay, and then you see her walking
like,
around, and she's kind of got this, she's wearing this kind of skin tight clothes, but she's also got this coat over it, so it doesn't seem too bad. And then it just gets worse and worse, and then the coat comes off, and then you see the jiggles, and it's just like, oh my, I could not believe what I was seeing. And someone thought that was a good idea. It's just bonkers. But anyway, we'll see what they do with that. I think that'll be it for Summer Games Fest. There was also the Xbox show. We're not going to get into it hugely because of BDS. We're not going to talk about any of the first-party games, but there were some third-party games that were announced and shown off. Crazy Taxi. There's a new Crazy Taxi. I love Crazy Taxi.
Woo!
I was sad that it did not have a trailer, where It was like slow motion, and a breathy girl says, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah." It's like the
I thought we
arcade
weren't
game.
allowed to sing on the podcast. What do you get to
Yeah,
sing on the
you've
podcast?
made this
Actually,
very clear to me and Sophie.
I probably messed up the processing. So I'm sorry,
I'm
listeners.
deeply
I might just cut
offended.
that. Look, this isn't an ideological stance. I mean,
I've
it's a
been
purely
banned from
logistical one.
singing for like 38 episodes or however many episodes we're on.
This is the
and
40th episode. Don't keep track of them.
Wow, that was a really good guess from someone who that was a
That's pretty
completely
good.
vibes-based number. I have no idea how many episodes we
I said what
recorded.
episode number was at the beginning of the podcast. So.
I have ADHD. I don't listen to words. What are you, crazy?
No.
Much less numbers. Anyway.
Other things that were announced of interest were Persona 4 Revival, which is a remake of Persona 4, presumably in the style of the Persona 3 remake they did. And also, they're finally announcing a 6th Persona game. Any fans of
Oh
Persona
man, Twitch
on
is
the
gonna
podcast?
love that. Nope.
Yeah, you're not fans.
I've never played any.
I played
I
Persona
feel like-
5. It's good. It was 100 hours. And
That's too many hours.
that was before the expansion. And when the expansion came out, I was like, well, I can go back into it and spend more time with my Japanese school friends that I've made. And then it was revealed that no, you have to play the game from the beginning with the expansion.
Oh
And
no,
I'm like,
really?
no, I'm not going to do that. So
That's rough.
I will not play Persona 6 when it comes out. I will wait, and if I play it at all, it will be when the expansion comes out, because I'm not going to get caught like that again. And I think that might be it that we can talk about anyway for Xbox. But there was one more thing. Nintendo came out with their little showcase. A few days later, they kind of sprung it on everyone. There are basically 2 things of interest here. There was... Oh, wait, 3 things. Sorry, I can
Don't you leave out the most indecipherable game of history?
I mean, there's a lot to choose from here. There's Xenoblade Genesis. Any Xenoblade fans here? That's pretty indecipherable, believe me.
Yeah, true. I was
One day we'll talk about
One day
we'll talk about Xenoblade and the crazy shit those games do.
Mhm.
But I'm looking forward to it. I'm a big fan of Xenoblade and the whole Xeno series. Even though I've only played the Xenoblade games, there's deep Xeno lore. Don't worry, gang. Don't worry. Exactly where this fits in the perfect worlds framework. Yeah. I know there's some Xeno fans over there know what I'm talking about. We don't know
this guy.
But
Xenophans, not to be confused with xenophobes. That's people who hate the game.
We're Xenophiles.
Or Stellar Blade, which we just talked about.
Yeah.
The other type of files enjoy that game. And then, I mean, here we go. Sophie's been excited for it. Not only will all the Kingdom Hearts games be on Kingdom Hearts games be on Switch 2, 1 through 3. Previously, there was some weird streaming thing you could do, but now they'll all probably be there. But they showed off Kingdom Hearts 4. Sophie, you have vaguely alluded to Kingdom Hearts in the past, but I'm unclear of how much of a Kingdom Hearts fan you are. Do you hate it? Do you love it? Does it haunt your dreams?
I would say that I am the podcast's Kingdom Hearts correspondent. Unfortunately, I think that is a doomed title. I used to love the games as a kid. As we talked about earlier, my first YouTube account was I Want KH2 because we had to import it. It was very expensive.
Indeed.
It's deleted now, so good luck finding it. But yeah, no, I used
Internet
to be
detectives.
Yeah, I used to be a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. I've played the first and second game multiple times. That being said, I've never played any of the in-between games because you need every console ever made to play them.
Not even Birth by Sleep? Not even
Birth by Sleep. I've not played
Distance?
a single one. And not even Dream Drop Distance.
2353 over 2 days?
356 days? No, not even that.
You're just shouting names of games at Sophie.
You're shouting words!
I've not played any of these games.
Kingdom
Have you
Hearts
played this one?
Key?
No.
Kingdom Hearts Key spelled CHI? Not in that one?
No,
Jeez.
but I have the remastered. Now I have the remastered, like, on my PC. So I could. I'm not going to, though, because I do think it's a ridiculous standard set. And I even borrowed, when I was living in Japan and Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, I even borrowed a friend's PlayStation so that I could play it. And it was fine. And it very much is a game that, like, it 100% benefits from nostalgia goggles. I can 100% appreciate that. Still one of the greatest game soundtracks of all time, though. I would argue that.
Yoko Shimomura, a queen of all our hearts. Well, I think you have underestimated me, Sophie, because over lockdown, I put myself to the task of playing through Kingdom Hearts. and
That's
I played through all of what I would consider reasonable
incredible.
to actually play of the
Mm,
Kingdom Hearts, which
that's
is missing
insane.
out quite a lot of Kingdom Hearts,
Yeah.
like probably most of Kingdom Hearts.
Listen, as someone who
Uh,
used to be a Kingdom Hearts fan, I think that's an insane thing to do and a massive waste of your time.
well, I mean, basically, it was playing Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Chain of
Uh-huh.
Memories, I skipped. I just watched a YouTube of that because
That's
I
just a
didn't like the
card
card
game. Fuck
combat.
that shit.
I didn't know. Fuck the cards. Dream Dot, Birthright Seed I played. Dream Dot Distance I played. I think on those compilations, I think 3523 whatever the over
Mm.
2 days. I think that's just a video as well. The Kingdom Hearts Key is just a video, and then I played Kingdom Hearts 3 when it came out. So I've played all these games. I'm maybe more of a Kingdom Hearts expert than you, so. So
But
as
Jeez.
probably, I think I would just say I'm an OG fan is what I would describe
as
myself
t-
as.
as
So I have
two
no
as
ego attached to this.
as two Keyblade masters on the podcast, what are our opinions of Kingdom Hearts 4 shown off at the Nintendo showcase?
I mean, I've had really weird feelings about Kingdom Hearts 4 since the beginning. I think the real life thing is really weird and
Mm.
uncanny because for those listening who don't know, obviously Kingdom Hearts famously is ketchup and soy sauce. It's Disney meets Square Enix, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
it's like, you know, a cartoonish animation style as kind of befits a game that often has to sort of work compatibly with cartoonish Disney representations, Pirates of the Caribbean notwithstanding. So
And
like
Tron, don't forget Tron. Tron
oh
was
yeah,
in
and
Kingdom Hearts
Tron.
2.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I've kind of been a bit put off by like the whole it's in Tokyo reveal. I'm like this. I also am like I'm a little bit baffled as to if I hadn't seen Donald and Goofy in the
Mm.
preview, I would have been like, is this still a Disney thing?
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of shocked that Disney is still doing this partnership. I feel like it was
Mm.
very much a 2001 thing. I'm just baffled that Disney is still interested in having this partnership. I feel like they really would have distanced themselves by now. Dream Drop distanced themselves by
Oh
now,
yeah,
but
true,
they
very true.
haven't. So I don't know, very mixed feelings. But I mean, you know, it is a franchise of mixed feelings. So that's nothing new. Where like I've played the games as an adult and I'm like, wow, these are terribly written. These are
Yeah,
so
yeah.
badly written. It is mostly nostalgia, you know,
They
combined
are
with an
bonkers.
excellent soundtrack.
I I do think there is something to Kingdom Hearts, but they aren't. The story makes not a single lick of sense, and there's so many
Nope.
bizarre choices they make.
Mm-hmm.
Those things. Tetsuya Nomura, I don't know. Somehow I love Tetsuya Nomura also made the Final Fantasy VII remake games, and I love those. I think they're incredible, and I think the story's
Mm-hmm.
amazing in those. So I don't know how he did it. I think it's the other people who worked on it who managed to restrain him maybe. But someone did point out, I saw on the internet that like in Kingdom Hearts, there's a little cartoon version of Sora, the main character's face, next to the energy bar, and in each subsequent game, and from the footage
Mm.
of 4 that we've seen, he gets increasingly more depressed.
Mm-hmm.
He's like all smiley and happy in the first game, then a bit less smiley in the second, and then in the
Mm.
third game he's a little bit, he's like not really smiling. Oh, now he's like really serious.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
guess we have that to look forward to. They did not give, I believe, a release date, and people were kind of surprised that it was
Good
coming
luck
on
to him.
Switch 2 at all because it hadn't been announced, I think.
Yeah.
Um, but
Because it is also like a weird clip that they showed where it's like it's just, it's similar to the previous clip where it's just kind of like completely amorphous, fades in and fades out very suddenly.
yeah,
Very little context. I feel like I don't know. I kind of think these clips just aren't really worthwhile, but it's got such a diehard, rabid fan base. Like
mm,
I guess you can show stuff like this and people will be like, "Oh my god,"
yeah,
you know, and they'll sit there and theorize. It is one of those audiences, so it's like
yes,
I guess you can
absolutely.
get away with it, but and still call it updates. I guess. Sure, why not?
Well, let us all let our heart be our guiding key,
Mhm.
and look forward to Kingdom Hearts 4. But the big reveal at the end was, and we kind of talked about this because it got rumored, basically, it got leaked. Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time remake coming out this year, and all they showed was literally one shot of Link asleep as he appears at the beginning of the game, and that's it.
Mm.
Which is
Huh.
maybe a bit concerning since that game is apparently coming out this year, and there's not that much of this year left.
Listen, maybe he's
Uh,
just a sleepy boy.
Sleepy, he's just
Don't
sleepy.
bug him.
They didn't even show his famous dream. The dream he has is famous.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Ocarina of Time, very important game to me. I was pretty much obsessed with that game for about a year of my life when I was a teenager, or even more. Even I mean, frankly, the rest of my life I was obsessed with it.
Mhm.
Uh,
Well,
as I've said before, I'm hoping that this is some kind of wide scale remake like the Resident Evil remakes. It's not just the same game with different graphics. But considering they just made the new Star Fox game the same game with different graphics, which they've already done before, just like they have with Ocarina of Time, I'm not very optimistic, and that won't be the
Mm.
case. But I don't know. Maybe they will. They kind of so the words they've repeatedly used, and I'm literally looking at the Nintendo website here, and it says it here is reborn. It's been reborn. It's not like the game is just called Ocarina of Time. It's not got like a colon something, but they repeatedly said reborn, which maybe implies it's a bit more than just a graphic upgrade. But it's coming out this year, so you think so? I mean, they could.
it's that. I mean, that doesn't mean they're definitely going to do it, but
Yeah.
that's what the advertising implies, right? And I
Mm.
don't think they'd do like a one more thing moment for it if it wasn't that. Like this is a bigger deal than they made out of it being like re-released in 3D on the 3DS a decade ago or whatever, and that was just a graphical, well, plus the third dimension that they added.
I don't
Mm.
know. I
I don't
think
know. We'll see. We'll see.
the last episode was so long ago. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I believe I said that if there was like a Kalshi or a Poly market for video games, and maybe there is, and I can make some money. If you always bet on Nintendo being conservative and doing the absolute minimum, you wouldn't always be right, but you'd get a good return on your investment, keeping
Mm.
that up. So we'll see. I'd be very interested to play that game completely. What I would imagine, quote unquote, reborn to mean, but is that what Nintendo imagines reborn to mean? We'll find out.
Mhm.
And that, I think, was SGF. That was it. That was it. I think most people have generally, I mean, the SGF season, I should say.
The wider
Um,
cinematic
yeah.
universe.
I think most people were genuinely pretty up on this, to be honest. This overall show, it kind of felt the most like the old E3s, partly because I think for the first time, maybe they did it once or twice, but like all the big console manufacturers did actually get a big, actually have their big showcase during it as well. In the previous time, they've like kind of been a lot more spread out. And yeah, some good things to show. Not too much in the way of like it's absolutely earth shattering. People were wondering if Keighley would redeem the one last thing after he did High Guard last year, and how badly that went at the Game
Mm.
Awards. And I think most people think he did, even though I think as much as I loved not Resident Evil, Final Fantasy VII, and this new game looks great, and they had a whole deep dive into it. We knew that game was coming out. It pretty much looks like you'd expect it to look. So I don't know. I was a little bit disappointed as a kind of like a one last thing. I mean, pretty much, I think to live up to true redemption would have just had to have been Half-Life 3. I don't even know what else
Mm.
to possibly show. So probably being a bit unfair there. But yeah, I think it was pretty good. Were there what are your two thoughts of it, even if it's just from what I've just told you now? Does it sound good? Does it sound like games coming out might be interesting to you? Or are there other things you saw?
I think I don't follow. I'm pretty bad at following like games coming out generally, even though
Sure.
we do this podcast. Obviously, I just feel like stuff just doesn't stay in my mind enough until it comes out on Steam and there's an announcement for it. I'm like, oh shit, this came out, that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, I think I remember seeing a graphic that like there are so many games coming out before GTA
Yes.
6 this
Yes.
year. I don't know if you guys saw that graphic of just like everything is in the month before. And I do think I think it's gonna be a good couple of years for video games. Obviously it just sucks so much because we cover news that it's like, oh man, for a genre that's doing so well,
Yeah.
so many people are losing their jobs and
Yeah.
losing money all the time.
That is the
But
downside.
not to
And
be a
believe me,
bummer.
we're going to
But
be getting into that soon.
oh
We can't
yeah.
escape it. If you were hankering for some layoffs, we got
Yeah.
some for you.
But
Yum yum yum.
but otherwise, it's like, yeah, I mean, it seems like it's very much it's kind of exciting to be a fan of video games and be like
Yeah.
and feel like it's a genre that's just sort of constantly having room for more and more interesting things to come out. Like I don't feel the same way about the film industry, although recently with like Backrooms and some current like recent independent releases, the film industry is getting a little bit of that excitement again. But I feel kind of lucky that I play games that I feel like that excitement's kind of always been there and we haven't lost it
Yeah.
yet,
I do think, yeah, there is a lot of pessimism, and understandably, we're communists. We're hardly big fans of the economic system through which
We
video
are a
games are
fan of the
made,
arts. That's the
and the
thing.
arts and the arts.
Yeah.
But the fact is that there has never been a time in the entire time I've been interested in games where there haven't been games coming out on the horizon that I'm interested in and that are excited to play. And this is a pretty good crop of them, to be honest.
Mm.
I'm, the next year or so, or at least 6 months or so of video games, there's a lot of things I'm actually excited to play, so I can't really complain
Mm.
that much. I should say, yes, you did mention it. As we went through all these shows, the sheer number of games that are planned to come out at the end of September or the beginning of
Yeah.
October is incredible. I think I'll probably prioritize Control. I think that's gonna be my
Mm.
game of those, but there's gonna be so many other
End of my
games.
master's degree.
Oh
Can't
yeah,
wait.
best time, best
Perfect
time.
timing.
That's how you can celebrate.
Yeah.
By playing 400 games in the space of
400
2 weeks.
games.
Yeah. Man, just imagine how good that episode of the podcast is going to be.
Holy shit.
But yeah, obviously this is to avoid GTA 6 that is coming out in November. I think there was one game that's like a Barbie game or something that's coming out there. It's the only one that can brave it. That's the closest thing to Barbenheimer for that.
Is it the Barbie Rewind game?
Maybe it was something like that. It was some kind of like, I don't know. I seem to remember it was some sort of quote unquote girly game that was very much thematically opposite to GTA. But even they didn't have the guts to do it on the same day. I mean, come on. I will say there was another thing I've almost forgot. Which is, and this was, I believe, in the PC gaming show, new game from Gareth Damian Martin, sort of friend of the show, in that Ed and I have interacted with Gareth a bit through Games Transform, the festival we help organize. Gareth has been involved in a number of them, showing off and talking about Citizen Sleeper and Citizen Sleeper 2. And now they're making a new game. It's called Signet City. It's not really clear what it is. There's a video out, but it's very impressionistic. I don't know if there's.
It's fungal punk.
It's fungal punk, apparently. According to that's the word they're going
all
for.
questions.
Fungal
all
punk.
questions answered.
Yeah, that's what you need. In the video, it appears to be set in something approaching or looking like Britain, a quite depressing version of Britain, aka Britain. And there appear to be
Just regular Britain.
There appears to be mushrooms around. There's a shot of like what looks like some council flats with like some sort of growth on the corner that's
Have you been to
expelling
Epping
spores.
Forest? That's just regular
And
Britain.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
know. I mean, it's
Mushrooms
basically.
everywhere.
I think Gareth just took their phone and just did some footage and just stuck that on YouTube in black and white. Apparently, it sounds like it's going to be more of a kind of video gamey game than Citizen Sleeper. Doesn't sound like there's going to be like these dice rolls and stuff. It's going to be a more traditional, computer game RPG. And apparently will be first person. Although what that means is unclear. Yeah, there's very little to go on here, but I'm excited. We generally loved Citizen Sleeper when we had that episode with World's Greatest Human, Tom. What's his name? Tom Nicholas. No. We are going to re-record that. Just terrible names. I'm just terrible with names. I'm just terrible. I forget my best friend's names. I forget both your names. I forget everyone's name. That's the only matter in which I would forget Tom Nicholas' name.
I'll allow it.
In the episode with Tom Nicholas, which World's Greatest Human.
remembered.
Everyone can remember that incredible episode, as Sofie just alluded to.
Episode 10.
Yeah.
Episode 10, exactly. And although I still haven't played Citizen Sleeper 2, I'll have to get around to that sometime. Maybe.
No, nor have
maybe.
I. Although I would say Signet City is like probably one of the ones I'm most excited about, but that doesn't really make sense given that I've not played Citizen Sleeper 2.
Yeah, but it's possible Citizen Sleeper 2 was such a collapse in quality that I would never be excited for anything Gareth Damian Martin makes again, though I think that's very unlikely. I'm sure it's excellent.
I'm sure it is.
But yeah, look forward to that. And it's quite relevant to our interests. So that really is it. And I think we will be on to some. Look, I know you've been craving the bad news. It's here, baby. Bring it home, Ed. Bring us the sweet depression.
Yeah.
Sweet,
so my
sweet
story,
release.
the sweet release of the story about the changes at Microsoft Gaming, let's say, with the most obvious ones being that Compulsion Games, Double Fine, and Ninja Theory are at risk of closure as Microsoft are making cuts. Now, Alex has already alluded to this, but we're not playing Microsoft games here on the podcast because of their complicity in the genocide in Palestine. Nonetheless, I will bring you this news story without any joy in my heart. I'll say that much.
Mm-hmm.
On the 10th of June, Asher Sharma, the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, issued a note to Xbox workers saying, among other things, quote, "We expanded our studio system. In the process, we have found ourselves overextended." The letter then said that there would need to be hard choices ahead and called for a reset for Microsoft. Now, we've all been around long enough to have a good idea of what that's code for. Like, hard choices is normally business speak or maybe politics speak for there are going to be cuts. And of course, the first thought for a lot of us hearing that is they're going to be layoffs. That's the format that the cuts are going to take. Shortly after this, Kotaku were reporting that Compulsion were at risk of being shut down. And then Bloomberg reported that nearly all of Microsoft's the studios that they own were concerned about their futures, specifically saying that Double Fine and Ninja Theory were said to be in talks with Microsoft about their futures. As a reminder, Compulsion, you might know them from South of Midnight that they put out last year. Double Fine are best known for Psychonauts, I'd say, and Ninja Theory, I know them from their cinematic VR game Star Wars Vader Immortal, but they're probably best known for the Hellblade games. And literally 1 week before this all came out, they announced the next game in that series, Senua? I don't know how you pronounce it. Senua, thank you. Yes, that's part of the Xbox showcase. In fact, in that showcase, we saw that Xbox seemed to be moving back towards exclusive games. They announced 2 exclusives, Gears of War E-Day and Clockwork Revolution as exclusives. And people were wondering why is Senua not going to be exclusive? And I guess perhaps now we know why.
Yeah.
So to be clear, it's not that these companies, anything specific is definitely happening to these companies yet. It's that there are discussions ongoing about what's going to happen, but with one potential option being that they continue on as independent studios. But really, regardless of what's going to happen, layoffs seem very, very likely. Asher Sharma's letter that I mentioned also revealed that Xbox will end, I'm quoting now, will end this fiscal year at about a 3% accountability margin down year over year. So Microsoft's financial year ends in June for some reason. So it's ending in about a week at time of recording. Apparently, by the way, accountability margin means the same thing as profit margin. I've not heard that phrase before myself, but a 3% profit margin is pretty low. And as many commentators have pointed out, they'd have been able to earn more by just putting their money in a bank account and leaving it there for a year and taking the interest. So that adds a bit of context to the situation that Xbox is finding themselves in, and also why there are actually a series of other changes I want to cover that Xbox have got lined up. So beyond just the specific things that we have talked about with those 3 studios, Bloomberg are reporting that, quote, significant layoffs, end quote, at Xbox are expected in the next financial year, which, again, to reiterate, is in like 8 days. So we don't know yet what shape that will take, like who that will affect, beyond the 3 we've talked about, how extensive it will be. All we've got is this significant layoffs thing, which is obviously quite a concerning way of describing the quantity of layoffs, especially in light of how many the previous rounds of layoffs we've seen at Microsoft. Additionally, there have been some more changes at Microsoft. The Xbox Game Studios head, Craig Duncan, has stepped down, as has the Xbox Chief of Staff, Louise O'Connor. And more than this, there's talks that they're considering more fundamental structural changes to the way Xbox is going to work, which might include restructuring Xbox as a wholly owned subsidiary, like basically moving them a little bit, separating them a little bit from Microsoft. That's how they currently run LinkedIn and GitHub. So while apparently no restructures are imminent, to quote the report, all options are on the table. So we might be seeing a fundamental rethinking of how Xbox even relates to Microsoft soon. And then the final change I'd want to flag here is Microsoft have apparently approved the plan from Sharma to spend more on, quote, top-tier development, which seems to mean they're going to be fast-tracking development on their biggest games, like the Elder Scrolls series, the Fallout series, and Halo, with apparently Elder Scrolls and Fallout being of particular interest to Sharma. I can see why that would be appealing to Microsoft. I mean, these games should earn Microsoft huge returns on their investment, but having played a lot of Bethesda's games myself, I have very rarely thought, oh, I wish I'd spent less time on this game. They're not known for being overly polished, let's say that.
Yeah, very true.
So, in general, my instincts on this series of changes, which is quite a lot, Like that's quite a lot of stuff potentially happening. And in general, my instinct specifically on the investing in a small number of like quote unquote sure things, I think that could end up being good for Microsoft in the short term in terms of their bottom line. I don't think it bodes very well for the industry. I mean, firstly, the risk for Microsoft here would be if they invest a bunch of money in one of these games and it's like their main thing and then it bombs, that could be a massive problem for Microsoft, or at least for the gaming division. And secondly, we've seen so much like centralization in the industry already, with so many studios being bought out. And so to see even like further concentration of the resources, like even within that already centralized system, the resources being channeled directly in such an obvious way into these like massive existing IPs away from potentially riskier but maybe more interesting or maybe like potentially future defining games, it's just a bit depressing to see, and it's hard to imagine a world in which this is good for the overall ecosystem. You know, Microsoft, they're in a bit of a bind, aren't they? That, as we've just seen, they're not massively profitable at the moment in terms of their gaming, and they seem to be making moves away from exclusivity and towards rethinking the future of the Xbox hardware. For the last little while, we've talked about how it looked like the next Xbox might be something much more expensive and much less in the normal console realm. For example, Sarah Bond, the leader of Xbox last year, said that the next one would be a very premium, very high-end product, which was a bit of a concern. And we thought maybe the next Xbox might be basically a bit like the ROG LIX, a very premium bit of hardware not really designed for mass adoption. But since coming in, Asher Sharma has given these kind of indications that they're committed to this Project Helix, which they've announced being something more like a normal console, where, mass adoption would be the goal. Like she said in an interview with Bloomberg Tech recently, that Helix would be really expensive, quote, if we do not innovate, saying that this is one of the main problems that she's come in to try and fix, suggesting therefore that their goal at this stage, and that they think maybe it's achievable, is that maybe the console won't be very expensive, like at least like not to the astronomical levels that we're all fearing. But this move away from exclusive games and towards hardware, while it's something that we sort of want, like that's kind of what we want for the industry to some extent, we don't want everything to just go through Sony hardware-wise. It's coming at a quite unfortunate time where hardware has become monstrously expensive due to RAM costs. We've seen that this week. I mean, literally yesterday at time of recording with the Steam machine coming in the UK at £879 or more than $1,000 in the US, in line with the pre-existing Steam Deck price increases. The Steam machine has gone from what people hoped was going to be like the no-brainer, mid-range, maybe more budget, but somewhere in that neck of the woods, the thing that you would recommend to a casual gamer who wanted to get like something on the PC console borderline, to something which is so expensive that it's really hard to see who it's for now. It's too expensive for all but the richest of casual gamers, and yet too underpowered for someone that would otherwise drop £900 on a gaming PC. It's not really clear. And that's the same environment that's created this situation that Microsoft are going to be finding themselves in, right? Asher Sharma acknowledged this in the letter that I've been referring to, saying that the console storage was projected to be 5 times more expensive at the end of 2027 as it was at the start of 2025, and that memory was following the same trend. And she called this a crisis. Like that's the level of problem that this whole sector is facing. In an interview with Fortune, Asher Sharma said that the next Xbox might not be the most premium or high performance of console, quote, because we've reached a point where it will be hard to imagine that mass audiences can afford thousands of dollars to spend on a console. I don't think we can raise prices through the hardware crisis that we are seeing. Actually, the second bit she said to Bloomberg, the first bit she said to Fortune. By the way, those are the considerations that clearly are being had at Xbox. So yeah, they're potentially moving away from this software available everywhere model with their 2 new exclusives and their new chief strategy officer saying this is the start of a program and players can expect a reliable pipeline that validates their historical investment in the Xbox platform. And they seem to be moving back towards the classic model of trying to sell you a console first and then selling you games. But this is happening at a time when suddenly the hardware side of things looks massively less attractive, as we're seeing with the Steam machine. So this is a change we wanted them all to make, I think, but the conditions really don't seem right for it right now. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. And I think if we can make any predictions here, is that it's been kind of a tumultuous period for Xbox, but I feel confident in predicting that turbulence will continue. And it's a bit like it's a bit like with the British prime ministers, right? Like, do we live in a chaotic era and that's why we've had so many prime ministers in the last few years? Or are things chaotic because of the turnover of prime ministers? And, the answer is obviously to some extent both, but I think it's mainly that the conditions are so chaotic, right? Like, capitalism is a very crisis-prone system. It's very chaotic, and the chaos plays itself out in politics, it plays itself out in industry, and it plays itself out in gaming with massive concentration, AI bubbles, and layoffs. And so once again, to bring it back, as normal, those who are ultimately going to be paying the price for this are the workers who are going to lose their jobs in this turbulence, and we're already seeing that coming down the line with these changes from Microsoft. So that's what I've got. I don't know if either of you wanted to comment on that, or this obviously the Steam machine's been the talk of the town for the last day or so.
Well, I do think it's worth saying, just for our listeners, that we are recording this on Tuesday, the 23rd of June. So, as Ed mentioned, the end of the financial year for Microsoft is like only a few days away. So, there's a pretty high chance that there is big news about this stuff that we have just missed because of that. And whose fault is that? I would say it's Asha Shah's fault. She has it out for us. She knows how to fuck us over. Let's be honest about it. We all know it. But other than that, I would say I do feel, especially for Double Fine. I suppose the dream scenario would be that all three of these studios, instead of being everything going badly, they just manage to somehow just get their independence and leave, and people don't get fired, and then we can actually play their games again because they won't be under BDS. That's probably a bit wildly optimistic. But I have a big soft spot in my heart for Double Fine, especially. I recommend to everyone that they watch both the Double Fine Adventure documentary and then the Psych Odyssey documentary about the making of Broken Age and then Psychonauts 2. The Psych Odyssey is literally over 20 hours long, but genuinely, it's like an incredible insight into how game development works. I mean, literally, I would recommend to everyone that, obviously, over the course of maybe a few weeks, just have that as part of like something you watch in the evenings or something, because they're really well made, really interesting, and it really gives you a feel for the studio. And I don't know, they don't seem to have done terribly well under Microsoft. They made Psychonauts 2 that came out, they were taken over while they were making that, and I think that Psychonauts 2 is an incredible game, and it's easily the best game by like a long way, I'd say. And since then, they made a game called Keeper. That, again, we didn't play because it's under BDS. That came out last year. And then they just put out another game called Kiln, which, again, we haven't played, but also has apparently just completely bombed. And, like, neither of these games were, I think people quite liked them, but they weren't, like, critically acclaimed or anything by any stretch. So, I don't know. I hope that somehow they can get it together and make great games again, because it'd be a real tragedy if they can't. And though I will say, part of me thinks that they will probably be relatively okay, just because what's his name? Tim Schafer, of course, yeah. Tim Schafer is such a beloved figure. Like, it would genuinely be a huge PR blow to Microsoft to screw them over. So I think they'll probably get a slightly better deal just because of that. But I mean, even the others, no one deserves it. Ninja Theory's made some great games. I really like the first Hellblade. I even played the second one. And Compulsion, I've not played either of their games. But, I remember, and I do think these are the studios that are suffering the most under BDS, is what I'm saying. I mean, I'm under no illusions that BDS is striking a huge blow to Microsoft. But, the type of people who might respect BDS are exactly the type of people who might buy those type of games. I remember they announced BDS just before Compulsion's game South of Midnight came out, and I was fully intending to play it and talk about it on the podcast, and basically had to drop those plans. So, I don't know, maybe in some incredibly rose-tinted universe, they can just be better off out of it, but it's probably not going to go that way.
Cool. Yeah, I think that covers us on the Microsoft updates. So I believe we've got just one news story to go today, ladies and gentlemen, and all else who listen. And that's from my dear friend and comrade, Sofie.
It's me.
Finally.
It's me. And I'm updating basically on the IWGB news. So for those of you who don't, IWGB versus Rockstar. For those of you who don't know, basically October last year, there were around, like, I think it was 30. Was it around 30 or was it 30 folks? 30
Something
people
like that,
who
yeah, something
were,
like that.
yeah, 30 people who were fired at Rockstar because of alleged, I suppose I have to say, alleged union busting. Basically, every single member of staff that was fired of the 30 members of staff did just so happen to be in a union at the time. And
Huh.
the
It's a weird
Rockstar basically
coincidence. It's weird.
weird coincidence. It's so
It's weird.
strange that
Crazy things
so
happen.
strange the way that works, but I'm sure it was completely innocent because Rockstar said it was, basically because they of gross misconduct. Basically, Rockstar excused it as no, they all had just so happened to commit gross misconduct in their union chat. So they're being taken to court. The IWGB is taking them to court, and basically in the latest in IWGB's legal proceedings against Rockstar, an employment tribunal has ruled against Rockstar in favor of allowing the IWGB to bring blacklisting claims, as well as every one of the IWGB's allegations relating to union busting, to proceed to trial, which is happening from around the 10th of September until October this year. So just explaining a little bit about blacklisting. Blacklisting is the prohibited practice of compiling information about workers involved in union activity, activism, or health and safety representation for the purposes of hiring or management decisions about those workers, so obviously to discriminate against them. Rockstar attempted to challenge the IWGB's ability to bring blacklisting claims to trial because they wanted to narrow down the scope of the case, but the recent ruling rejects this attempt, so it will be going to trial along with every other allegation that the IWGB is leveling against Rockstar, which is great news. It's great news. I've got some quotes here just on some things that people have said about it. Ellie Dunstan, who was one of the workers fired by Rockstar in October last year, said, quote, "This ruling is a huge moment for us. Rockstar thought they could control the narrative. They're wrong, and we look forward to proving it. Our case will now be heard in full and put to the test as it should be. The world will get to see for itself the evidence as to what happened last October." And Spring McPollen-Jones, chair of the IWGB Game Workers branch, said...
Well, who else but a friend of the show, who obviously we interviewed in episode 38, I believe.
So friend of the show, Spring McPollen-Jones, said, quote, "This ruling is a major blow to Rockstar's attempts to avoid scrutiny for its actions and a major step forward in our fight for justice for our members. The tribunal has refused to let Rockstar off the hook, finding that serious factual questions remain about how these workers were identified, listed, and dismissed, questions that must now be tested at a full hearing," unquote. Yeah, so excellent news, really, really encouraging. Obviously, being able to sort of bring all of the allegations to the trial is incredible. It seems like, I mean, even Keir Starmer, recently resigned Keir Starmer, basically said that this case was very concerning. Remember that guy? Even he fucking said, "Milk toast worm man, milk Keir Starmer," who even commented that this whole case was like, quote unquote, very concerning, or however the hell he talks. So,
a bit more nasal than that.
It's very concerning.
That's quite good. That's quite good. Keir, is Keir with us today? I mean, I guess he's got more time in his hands.
I do, yes. I've resigned. It's a terrible Keir. Anyway, even he said it was very concerning. So, it seems like, genuinely, they have quite a bit of mainstream support. It seems like the courts are sort of at least a little bit ostensibly on their side leading up to the trial. So very exciting. And there is a reminder that you can support the IWGB by donating to the union if you'd like. Just search IWGB donate and you'll be directed to the iwgb.org.uk's donation page. So consider doing that to support your fellow game workers. Not that you're all game workers, but, your fellow gamers and game workers.
You're all gamers.
All
in the
gamers,
world
every
together.
single one of them, We're friends.
They're gamers, and they're the gamers who are rising up. They're the gamers who are rising up.
Give him your money. Thanks. That's it, yeah. Very good news.
Actual good news. Isn't that incredible?
Mainstream support, crazy. Even Keir, crazy.
Even Keir. Well, I think on that very rare and unexpected, but, joyful and reinvigorating. Good news. I think that feels weird to say the word good news
Good
out loud. Good
news?
news?
What's that?
Type of news? Can it be good?
News?
Actual good news?
Good?
I think
Yeah,
probably
good.
we are going. Well, here's the bad news. We're going to have to end the episode. It's over.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
Yeah. I'm sorry, everyone.
I knew it couldn't be too good to be true.
There had to be a shitty lining to the good news, right?
Oh dear.
Obviously,
Ruh-roh.
as always, we genuinely really would beg you to share us on online and review us on Spotify,
Please.
iTunes, and I think it would
mean a lot to
it would
us.
really be
Really, really make my
very
day.
it would really be very
Pretty
moving
please.
to me if you personally. Maybe less so for my
I think it would make him
co-hosts
cry.
who are naysayers, but just it'd be nice if you did that. It'd be nice. No pressure, but
It's gone the vulnerable
it-
route, listener. You
it'd be
have to do
nice.
it now.
It'd be nice. Yeah.
You gotta.
What can I say? We try hard at this.
But you're gonna we sit
And
in really hot rooms
when
for
you
this.
tell people about us, you can tell them to find us on Twitter at Red Barrels Pod and on Blue Sky at redbarrelspodcast.bsky.social. Me personally, you can find me at Alex Dean, ALEXDUIN on Twitter, and the same thing, .bsky.social. Ed, how can people find you?
You can find me at Not a Lemon on Blue Sky or at Still Not a Lemon
Wow.
on X/Twitter.
Wow.
Sofie, how should people locate you?
They can locate me by going to twitch.tv/SoFreely, SOFREELY.
Or probably just twitch.tv. You'll be the top
Top
thing.
thing.
Yeah, I'll
top
be on the
item,
front
imagine.
page. I
Yeah.
am actually all the front. I'm every item on the front page. Yeah.
I know, and of course
I-
I can find you at, what was it? I want Kingdom Hearts KH2?
Yeah, I
Or
want
what it was?
KH2.
I want KH2.
YouTube.com/I want KH2.
I know you've deleted it, but I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
just double check. I'm pretty sure I deleted it because I think it was linked to my old Google Plus account, and I didn't want to have that
Google
anymore,
Plus.
so I ended
Remember
up deleting
Google
it.
Plus.
Yeah,
Remember
remember
that?
that?
Google
God.
Plus. Wow.
Oh, plus,
Those
plus,
days.
plus. Yeah.
Use that for maybe 3 days, 4 days.
I didn't use it at all.
Doesn't look like it's there.
It doesn't look like it's that.
Ah,
Damn
sad,
it!
Very sad. Very
Damn.
sad. Well,
I had
feel
all
free.
my AMVs, man.
Check out the Wayback Machine or whatever. Maybe you can find it there.
Oh, that's a good point.
And while you listen to your
Let me
hacking,
have a look.
you can enjoy music from Brilliant Drink, who did our music and is always great and amazing, and we love them. And I think that really will be it. So thank you for coming back after a big old break, but you'll have to wait 1 whole week for our views on Zero Parades that's coming up.
What?
For right now, there's just going to be nothing because we're saying goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Wow.